RWBY Volume 5, October 14th. 2 more character shorts coming out. But if there's one thing this trailer showed us, it's that Weiss truly is best girl. Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, and welcome to an analysis of the first character short of Volume 5 of RWBY. We're concentrating on Weiss this time. Now, back in Volume 4, we had the singular RWBY character short, and although it was amazing when it came out, I just gotta say that it pales in comparison to this one. This one truly is an amazing trailer as well as a character short. It gives us more insight to Weiss as a character, as well as amping us up and putting us on that hype train toward Volume 5. Am I excited for the other 2 coming out? Of course I am. But for right now, let's analyze Weiss's character short. Alrighty, so as the character short starts out, I've already seen this enough on the social medias and on the comments of the actual video, but there is indeed a frozen rose, the very beginning shot of this episode. And I'm only really talking about this because of so much controversy that's come up from this one shot. We've had a lot of people shouting, "White Rose confirmed! White Rose confirmed! Ice Flower confirmed! Weiss and RWBY! The chip confirmed!" And while that is probably a possibility, I'm gonna leave it up to a possibility. Do I think that's what it means? No. Do I believe that there is a deeper meaning to this beginning shot of the trailer? Yes. If you take the rose as a flower, what does it normally symbolize? It normally symbolizes love or romance. And the fact that it's frozen in this state really makes me think that the love that Weiss has, or at least receives, is cold love. It's a frozen love. She doesn't receive love at all, or not that much. It's the wrong kind of love, which goes back to the whole point that in this trailer, Weiss still is at the Schnee family manor, and it does take place before Volume 1, so she's still around her family, so she feels as though the love that she's receiving from them is a cold, freezing, damaging love. It's not a good type of love, so I think that the beginning shot of this trailer is more to show Weiss's heart and love situation more than a confirmation of any kind of ship. Alrighty, but with that out of the way, we get to the real meat of this volume short. So we see that Weiss is standing out in a courtyard near a fountain at the Schnee family manor. Now, it takes place before Volume 1, and even before the white trailer, before even Volume 1 came out, due to the fact that she does not have her scar. She does not have her scar on her face. It plainly shows it. It concentrates on the side of her face that the scar is on to show you that there is no scar. And we also see that she wears her ponytail in the center of her head back instead of on the side like we've seen in the other volumes. So she's much more conformed, much more green and younger Weiss than we're used to. So not only do I believe that this is a flashback, but it's a memory as well. So, you know, flashbacks and memories kind of go hand in hand, but the whole flashback memory aspect comes into more with the end of the trailer, but we'll get there eventually. But essentially, this trailer, if you will, takes place in the past for Weiss. As Weiss turns to start to head back into the manor, a crazy snow windstorm comes in and some Grimm arrive. Now, these Grimm share the same white coloring as we have seen from Winter's summoned Grimm. So, we obviously know that these Grimm have been summoned by Winter to help train Weiss. Now, some people have made the connection that, oh, some sort of blizzard! Winter must be the Winter Maiden! But, to be honest, I don't think that's any form of proof to Winter being the Winter Maiden. If anything, this blizzard aspect of the summoning is a part of the summoning, or just a part of the dust that Winter might be using to help enhance the training that she's putting Weiss through. Because this is solely a training session, and even though it is a training session, and deep down we know that, oh, Weiss isn't gonna get hurt because Winter is simply training her and all that, we're still concerned due to the fact that, you know, there's all this stuff going on. Now, as I said before, this is a trailer that's probably the earliest we have ever seen of Weiss. So, Weiss, although she displays great form with her weapon, using it to stab, slice, parry, and she even throws it at one point, impaling a Grimm with it. She shows a mastery with her weapon that really hasn't been shown in any of the previous, like, stuff that we've seen her in. So, even though she is, like, stronger in Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4 than she is in this character short, she shows more of a proficiency with her weapon. She doesn't so much rely on her, you know, summoning glyphs and shooting ice and stuff. She does use her glyphs a lot in this trailer, yes, but she mostly uses her weapon as a killing tool. Now, if the RWBY manga are definitely canon, then it isn't truly until her fight with the Geist Grimm in the armor that it stated that she has truly mastered her weapon. So, if she has mastered her weapon in this trailer, we're not entirely sure, but by the way she fights, I definitely think that she is, if not mastered it, she has excelled and is almost to mastering her weapon right now. I think at this point in time, she was really starting to use dust and her glyphs to her advantage. And speaking of glyphs, we get to see a lot of her base glyphs and dust powers that she uses. Once again, this is a flashback. Before she was doing time dilation, before she got real proficient with all her glyphs and using her semblance, and this was before she had any even concept of the idea of summoning. So, the main glyphs that she uses are gravity glyphs, platform glyphs that she uses to launch herself off of. She uses fire dust and ice dust to attack and impale the creatures of Grimm, the summoned Beowulfs that are attacking her. One of the most beautiful aspects of this trailer, in my opinion, is the fact that this training regimen and the way that Weiss fights in this character short is an elegant dance. Once again showing us just how elegant Weiss is, how that she's an heiress, you know, she's the princess of the show. So even though she fights creatures of Grimm, the way she fights them is very elegant. It's not brutish. It's not, you know, all over the place. It's not, you know, the way that she fights, I believe, it's very stamina orientated. If we check, she does not negate or beat around the bush with any of her strikes. None of her strikes are meant to simply just get somewhere. None of Weiss's strikes are prodding or miss. Every time she attacks one of the creatures of Grimm, it's to either maim them, wound them, or kill them. She is excellent in the way that she is fighting. She's not, you know, spending energy with, like, doing unnecessary moves. Every single move is precise and necessary, and I love that fighting aspect about Weiss, is that the way that she fights, she gets straight to the point, goes for the kill, or does a defensive stance, and then moves to the kill. The way Weiss fights is to end conflicts quickly, because, as we know of Weiss, she's a glass cannon. She can't really take that many hits, and if she uses her semblance and dust way too much, she can lose when it comes to stamina and endurance-wise. So she ends fights as quickly as possible. Now, although Weiss shows excellent form when dealing with Beowulfs, once the fight truly ramps up, it seems like she starts to be attacked by snow sheets just coming out of the ground and hitting her. Now, could this be some sort of thing from Winter? Maybe if she is the Winter Maiden, some sort of power along that line, or maybe it's some sort of glyph that hasn't really been seen yet. In my opinion, it's neither of those things. We have seen Winter summon all these Grimm, and she's training Weiss to be a huntress, which fight Grimm. So I believe that whatever is attacking Weiss in this moment is also a Grimm. Maybe some type of subterranean worm-type Grimm that has like a spiked fin that like slices at things, and maybe we're gonna see that in Volume 5. Is there anything that can truly confirm the fact that this is some kind of Grimm? No, not at this point, but it's what I think, due to the facts that it's a training session, she's fighting Grimm, and Winter is helping and aiding in her training. Now, it's through this mystery attack that Weiss loses her weapon and is finally put into a position of complete helplessness when a Beowulf pounces on her and pins her down. Now, this shows that early Weiss, and probably current day Weiss, she is a lot like RWBY in the sense that you knock her weapon away and she's pretty much useless. Her weapon carries all her dust that she uses, and she doesn't really have the physical, prowess to just fight a Grimm off barehanded. So I think that this is a definite weakness in Weiss, that she needs to learn to adapt, maybe adopt a secondary weapon, or figure out how she can use glyphs without the use of her weapon or dust. Maybe summoning like a gravity glyph between her and the Grimm, allowing the Grimm to go flying off of her, would have been able for her to continue during this fight, but at this point she cannot do that. And it's here that the mock fight ends with her calling out Winter's name. Now, this whole mock fight and the whole idea that it seems that it's happened before makes me think that Winter has at least played a part in Weiss's training throughout her life. Winter, of course, went off to join the military, joined Ironwood, so the concept of her training Weiss maybe on her off time or maybe even before she joined the military really makes a lot of sense. If Weiss wanted to become a huntsman, she could definitely get extra practice from her sister fighting actual Grimm without the concept of there being any real danger. Because as soon as things start to go bad, Weiss is, she can't fight anymore or she's pinned like this, all she needs to do is call for Winter to stop her summoning. And she stops. The Grimm go away. So essentially, this type of training regimen is very good for a huntress to use without any possibility of maiming or being hurt severely. Now, Winter has some real important lines in this character short. She states that she isn't always going to be around to protect Weiss, and when Weiss responds with, I'm sorry, I'll get better, Winter starts to walk away and says, pretty much along the lines is, it's the only way you're gonna be able to leave this place is if you get better. And that shows that this conversation with Winter was the driving point for Weiss for volume 1, 2, and 3. The fact that she wanted to get away from her family. She wanted to go to Beacon, to become a huntress, to become stronger. Because it was the only way that she was going to be, get away from being under the thumb of Papa Schnee. Is if she got stronger, got better, and was able to go to the best huntsman academy in the world, Beacon. Now, another thing that these lines kind of give off is the line when Winter says that she isn't always going to be around to help and save Weiss. Now, it kind of gives off the feel of possibly a Winter death in the future, and although it's kind of maybe hinting at that, I personally don't want it to happen. I want there to be a lot of time dedicated to Weiss and Winter both growing as characters. Weiss idolizes her sister. We've gotten that from how she acted in Volume 3 when Winter came. She loves her sister, idolizes her. And the fact that, oh, Winter's going to come in and then maybe die in Volume 5 just makes me sad. It's like, stop giving us these cool mentor characters like Crow and stuff, and just to sprinkle the whole, oh, is he gonna die? Is he gonna die? We don't know. Oh, he didn't die. Well, he's probably gonna die later. And then it's like, oh, look at Winter, look at Winter. Oh, she's probably gonna die. It's like, don't do that, okay? Let us meet these characters. Let us get to know these characters more, and then kill them off when we know them very well. And it's like, you guys don't need to kill so many people. So I'm hoping that Winter doesn't die in the coming volume and that she sticks around for a while, because Weiss at this point in time is still trying to find her way, and she needs Winter's help to do that. I'm gonna talk more about Weiss's mindset later on, but the end of the trailer comes to the point where Weiss wakes up from a dream, and that's why this is a flashback memory type deal. It's because Weiss is on her way to Mistral on the airship that she took at the end of Volume 4. And so we can tell that she's thinking of Winter. She's thinking about the time she spent with Winter, and that is why she's going to Mistral. She wants to meet back up with Winter and figure out what she's going to do. And hopefully her meetup with Winter is early on in Volume 5, and we get to see a lot of good screen time with them both. Alright, my friends, that is the first part of this character short breakdown. Now, another big important part of this character breakdown is, of course, the song. And I don't know what it is with Weiss trailers, Weiss-centered trailers, promotional material, and frickin' songs that I just love so much. This happened way back in the day, years ago, when the original White trailer came out. I made 2 videos about it. One was about the trailer itself. The second one was about the song itself. This time I'm putting it all into one video because I don't gotta worry about it being under 15 minutes like I did all that time ago. But I've always enjoyed the Weiss-centered songs probably more than any of the other songs. Now, although this song has a lot of similarities to the Mirror Mirror saga, it also has something new. It has something different, you know, a different kind of tone, a different kind of rhythm, and I really, really like that. So, I'm gonna put the lyrics up in the video. They're gonna be on the screen right now, and we're going to discuss the lyrics bit by bit. So right now, let's take the first 5 verses, the first 5 lines. Alrighty, so in these first 5 lines, now everyone's gonna deduce this song differently. This is just my opinion on how I think this song is being deduced, what the lyrics mean. These first 5 lines talk about something. Weiss has lost something that's dear to her and something that she's loved. And this loss has hurt her in a way that she started to become cold and bitter to the world. Now, what is this thing that she's lost? Well, due to the fact that I believe that this song is a precursor to the whole Mirror Mirror saga, but it can also be tied into how Weiss is thinking currently, with the beginning of Volume 5, it could be talking about the loss of her grandpa, maybe, the, you know, Santa Claus Schnee, who started the Schnee Dust Company and then was excommunicated, you know, pushed away by her father, and he was the inspiration for her to really become a huntsman as well as Winter. So maybe her grandfather recently died, maybe it's talking about Winter herself, maybe her leaving, or talking about, or this line is kind of contributing to the fact that Winter has been excommunicated from the family, and now Weiss is becoming the heiress of the Schnee Dust Company. But with present-day Weiss, it might be talking about Winter again, or maybe it's talking about Team RWBY in itself, you know, her friends, she lost them, and she doesn't really know what to do. But for the most part, I'm going to be concentrating on the past Weiss, that this song is a prelude to the Mirror Mirror saga, and pretty much it's taken place in the past, dealing with the Weiss in the trailer, in the character short, where she's in the past. God, I hope that all made sense. Probably not. I'm sorry. Wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff going on here. So this loss has hurt her, and she's becoming cold and bitter to the world, and that's essentially what the first 5 lines are talking about. The next 5 lines talk about how she's kind of cutting herself off from her family because she feels that she's losing, you know, who she is, and that this bad family is now replacing the good part of her family. The, you know, the Papa Schnee and the Whitley Schnee. They're kind of replacing her grandfather and Winter. She feels like she's being forced to conform to the ways of Papa Schnee and how you're supposed to act around people instead of just being who she is. And she feels like she's losing herself to the void, and her hopes and dreams are just being crushed and thrown out the window because she's being forced again to conform to Papa Schnee and his way of thinking. And then the next 4 lines talks about how enemies surround her, but they all, you know, have faces, you know, smiles on their faces, and they're posing themselves as friends. So she feels that the people around her that claim to be her friends, claim to be her family, are really just, you know, her enemies. They're just using her to their own ends, you know, using her because of her status and all of that. And more her world keeps falling apart because she keeps losing the people that she loves and being forced to conform to these ways of life that she doesn't want to, and to the point where she doesn't even recognize herself anymore. She's a shell of her former self. She doesn't know what's going on anymore, and it's like, as this song is playing, it's showing the chaos of the battle, and it's almost like Weiss is fighting her inner demons with these Grimm. And so I love it. The way that the song and the short complement each other is amazing, and I wish I could just have this full song right now. But of course I'm gonna have to probably wait a year for the Volume 5 soundtrack to come out. I'm so sad, man, because I just want this song now. And then, of course, the final lines that are like the best lines in the whole freaking song because I love them so much. It discusses how Weiss has just lost herself. She doesn't even recognize who she is anymore. She's pleading, "Mirror, help me. Who am I? What am I? Who am I?" And it's like she's pleading to this mirror who, if we know the Mirror Mirror saga, she's always pled to and like asked what is going on. Now it makes you wonder, by mirror, is she really talking to herself, or maybe is it Winter who she's talking to, who is kind of like a mirror of herself? They look very similar, they're sisters, and they both are huntsmen. So is this whole concept that she wants someone to help her. She almost needs someone to help her. I mean, I don't want to pull out the trope of, oh, princess locked in a tower, must have someone to come save her. It doesn't need to be that, but it's the fact that in this song, she's pleading for someone to help her that makes me think that way. And it's like, she can end up saving herself in some way, some regard, but she's going to need people's help to get to the point where she can save herself, if that makes any sense. Now, as I said in the beginning when I started talking about the song, this song could definitely be a prelude to the Mirror Mirror Saga, which I think it is, but it can also represent modern day Weiss. So, whether it's either one or maybe both, what is truly important is that this song is talking about just how, you know, broken down and kind of lost Weiss is right now. She needs to find someone to help her and needs to find some form of structure to latch onto. Weiss has lost a lot. She's lost so much throughout her life. She's lost, you know, the love of her father. She's lost her heiress status. She's probably lost her grandfather. Winter has pretty much been excommunicated out of her life for the most part. She lost her friends, Team RWBY, and she feels like as much as she loses, more is pushed onto her that she doesn't want. She doesn't want to be forced into a into a mold. It's like the concept that you have the baby with the square block and it's trying to fit it into the circle, the circle hole. It just isn't going to fit, and that's what Weiss. That's where Weiss is right now. She is the square block, and Papa Schnee's design for her is the circular hole. It just won't fit, and the way that Weiss wants to be who she wants to be, but no one else wants her to be that way, except for Winter. But as we know, you know, Winter cut off from the family and all that, and that's why she's going to Winter, because Winter is the only person who ever really believed in her. And this, my friends, is why this is a good character short. It gave us insight to Weiss as a character. It pretty much talked about and explained a lot of stuff that we pretty much already knew. We knew that, you know, oh, she, had a, cruddy time growing up, all this trouble with her family and all this stuff. But when we look at the lyrics of the song and what this, and what the actual short is showing us, we can still learn a little bit more that Winter was actually there for her training. She idolized Winter even more, and that, you know, all this stuff was going on. And this is why the character short is good. It's showing us a little bit about the character so we understand her more. Good character growth. That's what this is. We get to see more of a character that way, and it's sprinkled in with cool action. So it's like the perfect combination of greatness. Unlike another character short that I know of, but let's not talk about that right now. This was a very good trailer. Very good for hyping up RWBY Volume 5, and I can already tell this was the trailer that they showed at RTX at the RWBY panel. It was worked on a little bit in between here and then. Some of the animations are a lot more fluid, and it just looks a lot better. Is it absolutely perfect? No, there are a few times where it just kind of looked kind of weird to me, but overall, it's amazing, and I personally can't wait for the Blake and Yang trailers, because hopefully they give us some good character growth for Yang, give us some more insight into her character, because she barely got any in Volume 4, and hopefully we get some redemptive qualities in Blake. Please give us some good stuff with Blake. To be honest, guys, I don't want to hate on her anymore. I really don't. I want to like her like I liked her in Volume 1. But all we can do is wait for the next character shorts, and until that comes, my friends, those are just my thoughts. And the real question is, what do you guys think? Hey, everybody out there. I hope you enjoyed this video that I made up for you guys. I hope that it helps you understand things a little bit better and you're just as hyped for RWBY Volume 5 as me. So, until next time, my friends, be sure to like and favorite if you've enjoyed. Subscribe if you feel inclined to. Check out some other videos that I've done. Links are going to be down below. And, of course, check out me on Twitter and on Patreon. Patreon sponsors coming up right now. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys next time I'm out there in YouTube land. Be a good person. Tip your waitresses. Keep moving forward. I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you then. Yeah!